Football is back, and the Norse Benchwarmers are here to talk about everything from the thrilling start to the season in college football and some bold predictions for the upcoming NFL season. All that and more on the Norse Benchwarmers Podcast. Welcome back to the Norse Benchwarmers Podcast. I'm your host, Colton Smith, here joined by producer Josh Northcutt and co-host Ben Miller. Of course, we got director Garrett Jordan over there. How was our week last week? A beautiful weekend there on Saturday especially.
Yes, I'm about to say, football is officially back, even if it was
so back.
quote-unquote week 0. Football is back, so the world is glorious. We are back in school, so we got to deal with that stuff. But, I mean, this semester shouldn't be too bad, so hey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad football's back. I mean, obviously school's back, so it's been a great first week of that. And like I said, great college football over the weekend, great Daytona race.
Two good races, or good games, and then a great race there at Daytona.
And Friday Football Live, fun show.
Yeah,
look forward to doing that more.
That was a fun show. Can't wait to get back on that this Friday. Be sure to check that out. If I can link stuff, I sure will. But for some reason, the account, I sent like the verification for it weeks ago and still hadn't done that. So I'll try that again this week, I suppose. But also, I do need to give a shout out to our fantasy football draft, our first live show. We're doing a lot of preparations for that, and we're really excited. That is next Tuesday. Right around the corner.
I'm so looking forward to it. And, you know, we get Phil in here, Hot Take Phil. We get Alex in
the
here.
Wheel Deal.
Yeah, I'm about to say. So, no, it should be a really good time with all of us here. Just making me making you guys look bad.
Is that what it is? All right. Well, we do have Ben and Garrett both are doing their first fantasy league, so that will certainly be brought up on the live show a time or two.
Last place punishment.
All right. Well, we'll discuss all of that next week, though. Be sure to come through though. It'll Tuesday at what time? 7:30. Yeah.
Yep.
I set that time, but. Anyways, let's get into some of the headlines from last week. We talked about NASCAR. We'll get to that in a second. But tennis had a major headline that came out, I believe, either the day of the show last week or the day after. Yannick Sinner came out. I thought it was steroids the way I read it the first time. It sounds like it's not as much from what I read the other day. Gary, could you kind of break down that situation, though? I know it hits closer to home for you.
Yeah, I can just break it down really quickly. So from what I read, I believe they said it was some kind of like anabolic agent that the ITA like sees as a performance enhancer. And so what actually happened was the steroid, what they tested for, closterbol, I think is what it's called, was an ingredient in an antiseptic spray that was used by Sinner's physiotherapist on a cut on his own finger before providing a massage to Sinner. So that's how he became cross-contaminated, and the tests revealed that there was, I need you to bear with me, 0.000000001% closterbol found in his system.
Wow.
So the ITA eventually said, yeah, this was just a complete accident.
Yeah.
And since then, Sinner's parted ways with that physiotherapist.
Huh.
So there's been a little bit of pushback from other pros, namely
I was gonna say,
big
there's
ones.
been a lot of conversation about it.
Namely from a lot of other pros that have had issues with bans, like Novak Djokovic is probably one of the more outspoken people on this. One thing I thought personally was really funny was Nick Kyrgios violently disagrees, and he thinks Sinner should be banned for a full 2 years.
Wonder why.
Yeah, that's just Nick Kyrgios being a little crybaby. But yeah, I can see the pushback from the pros, but I genuinely think this was just an accident, and I don't think 8 zeros followed by a 1 decimal point would really affect his performance all that much.
I don't know, man. He looks pretty good.
So my quick question was, because I saw everything kind of happen, but I didn't know a lot about it, and I was waiting on you to explain it a little bit more. Is he allowed to play in the U.S. Open?
Yeah, no, he can play in the U.S. Open. He's in the draw. So he appealed this. He appealed the ban like 3 days after it was announced, and he almost immediately got it cleared.
And are tennis fans going to be as crazy about it as baseball fans and stuff like that when it comes to like cheating, even though this is clearly not cheating because it was .000. Yeah, I'm not going to do that again.
8 zeros. So just because of the minuscule amount that was found in his system, I don't think too many people are going to care, other than some butthurt pros that got banned for something similar. Yeah, Novak just wants clear and consistent rules, which I agree with. I think there should be consistency there because Novak's been banned for having minuscule amounts of stuff in his system, and he's had to face like months-long bans for it. So I can understand his frustration.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting situation, such a small dosage and stuff. And I think stuff like that has happened in other sports as well. Like I know the AJ Allmendinger situation was a little interesting there. But speaking of Dinger, he races in NASCAR, and that is what we want to talk about now. So the Saturday under the lights, I love it. I know they go away from it because nobody watches it, but the beautiful under the lights on the Saturday race at Daytona just happened. The Coke Zero, is it still the Coke Zero 400?
Coke Zero Sugar 400.
I forgot the sugar, my bad. Very important part there. Yeah. So Harrison Burton wins a thrilling Daytona finish. I should have we got copyrighted last time I tried to do that, so maybe I shouldn't have brought it in. But a thrilling Daytona finish. I think the MVP needs to go to Parker Retzlaff.
Retzlaff, yes.
Yeah, Retzlaff, because I mean, he gave him.
What is a Retzlaff?
Like, who knows? But all I know is he can push, man.
Yes,
there was questions on how good of a pusher he would be. Like right before that restart, they were all saying on the broadcast. He gave Harrison. He needs half the proceeds that Harrison Burton got there because he pushed that man. It was really cool because I thought I was like, Josh is getting me a point because I said Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is going to do it. Yeah. And then here comes Harrison Burton out of nowhere. It seems like Wood Brothers just only wins in just crazy fashion now. For their 100th win as a team. It took a long time to get there, but they're there now. One of the more historic teams, but it was a thrilling race. I didn't see it live, though. I didn't see a lot of the race, so you guys probably can fill in the blanks a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I feel like this is such a great race. I mean, obviously, when it comes to the end of the regular season, we all know that Daytona is going to show a lot of unexpected things. I mean, we had a bunch of drivers that were in contention to win this race that are looking outside the playoff bubble, like guys like Michael McDowell, a great super speedway racer, Justin Haley, another great super speedway racer, John Hunter.
He won a stage, didn't he?
I don't think he did. No.
Oh, okay. I misheard him then.
Yeah, Nemechek was up in contention. Kyle Busch was up in contention. Josh Berry, he was in position to get his very first career win, though. But what a huge win for Harrison Burton. I mean, it's obviously an upset, though. But you know, in his 3 years at Wood Brothers, though, it's been a rough 3 years, and hasn't really shown a lot of potential, though. But I feel like he does show a little bit potential on these super speedway tracks like Daytona and Talladega. I mean, we've seen flashes of him like running in the top 10. He qualifies really well. I wouldn't say really well, but he's up there sometimes.
He usually has a fast car, I mean, he was on the pole there, or at least the pole row or something like that, I believe, for the 500 either this year or last year. I remember having a bad fast car as well.
Yeah, I think, he's had a couple of top 10 starting positions in the Daytona 500, and he nearly won it in 2023.
He had a lot of laps, and then he wrecked. It was like with Byron or something. I have the image of it in my head.
Yeah. So, like, I thought, like, that was such a great win, and then like I said, had a rough 3 seasons in Cup, but just absolutely unreal.
So I just want to throw out this top 10: Harrison Burton, Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, Cody Ware, Todd Gibbs, Bubba Wallace.
I thought he was in jail.
Parker Retzlaff, Brad Keselowski, Daniel Hemrick, and Chris Buescher. Is there any more of a top 10 that just screams Daytona than that top 10?
That is quite the top 10 there, folks. I mean, and I thought KFB was. I thought he had that. And also, he's just going to dump him. I mean, he drives for RCR. He's already got the persona. He might as well, right? Finish what Austin Dillon started. But he didn't.
I did want to bring up 2 things that kind of happened. So we had the Josh Berry very, very scary wreck. That advancement in cars, because old school car, I mean, Josh Berry's not racing next week.
No, absolutely not.
So that, and then also the near scare of Michael McDowell. Getting up on Logano's hood, sideways, man. We kind of talked about it in our group chat. What is it they can do to keep these cars from flipping, or is this just going to be car? It's always been part of NASCAR, but it just seems like it's now happening every other week.
Yeah, I mean, you know, after LaJoie's flip in Michigan, though, NASCAR did add another rear wing on the window, but obviously that didn't help. So
did not help.
Like they just need to find details to try to keep these cars on the ground, because like three big wrecks like that in a span of 2 weeks. That's a lot. They need to dig deep for sure.
At the end of the day, no matter what car, no matter what you do, there is always going to be a chance of a flip. There's always going to be that perfect scenario. We had how many super speedway races, how many high speed races this year without a flip until Michigan? I mean, it's just weird that it happened in that consecutiveness. So I think, yes, if we can make that happen for sure. I think it's more beneficial, though, if we just figure out how to make these cars safe so that when they do flip, you don't have to worry as much. And Barry even said it in his interview that it probably looked a lot worse than it actually was.
Yeah, and when he was saying that, I was just like, either A, he's a tough son of a...
Well, he is.
or B, like, these cars have gone far away. Because he's like, yeah, I watched it. It was scary, but it looked a lot worse than what it really was. But I figure I'll bring up the playoff standings since we were coming up on the last week of the season. And right now, Truex and Gibbs will get in on points since there's only one race to go. But the battle for the 16th and final spot, Chris Buescher leads 21 points over Bubba Wallace, followed by Ross Chastain of 27. These three drivers going for that final spot is going to be very fun to see.
Oh,
because they're three... Honestly, they're three of my favorite drivers. I like the way these guys drive. I like how competitive they are. So it's going to be interesting to see, and I'm just interested in your guys' quick take.
I would point out that Ty Gibbs isn't necessarily locked in. If he gets 0 and somebody wins,
Can you
that's
get
outside.
0?
Yeah, absolutely. If you wreck out early, finish last.
Yeah.
I mean, even Truex isn't necessarily safe. All he has to do is get a stage point or two, and he's safe. But, I mean, we saw it with Joey Logano last year where he was up about 30 to 40 points and just got 0 points at Bristol and fell out. But what do you have?
Yeah, I mean, Chris Buescher, he obviously has that last playoff spot, though, so it'll be interesting to see how he'll do in Darlington. I mean, back in the spring, he nearly won it. Ross Chastain, we know how aggressive he can be. I feel like if he is in position to win at Darlington this weekend, I feel like he's going to do something aggressive to try to get him into the playoff spot. So, yeah, I think overall it's just going to be a crazy race, and you can't sleep on Kyle Busch. He's been showing some flashes.
For sure.
So I feel like he can.
Always got the talent in there.
Yeah, I feel like he can possibly win his way in too. So we'll see what happens.
Speaking of winning, it is now time for the winner's circle. Josh, you missed last week, so I'll let you go ahead and get started.
Should I steal yours? I don't think I should steal yours. All right. So mine is going to be Montana State, who got paid $300,000. The school did, mind you, to go to New Mexico and come back from 17 down to beat them. Congratulations, Montana State.
Yep.
I love those stories. When you get paid to go to a school and then you beat them, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
You love to see it.
Yeah. I mean, for myself, we just talked about this guy, Harrison Burton, first career win at Daytona, and the Wood Brothers' 100th win in NASCAR.
Heck yeah. My winner this week is going to be Georgia Tech. We all saw that game. We're going to talk about it in a minute. And just being on the national stage like that, going up against the number 10 team in the country, whether you think they should be or not, going in there, having a great entertaining game and then coming out on top. I really like this Georgia Tech team going into it, and after seeing game 1, I like this team even more. And when I was making my playoff predictions, honestly, I thought about it. I thought about sneaking them in there. We'll see how that all turned out. But Garrett, who do you got to winning?
All right, gentlemen, my winner circle pick this week is going to be none other than the Florida Little League World Series team.
Oh, that was a great finish.
Yes, it was an incredible finish. Their first ever Little League World Series victory came in extras on a walk-off bunt, of all things. I will describe it to you briefly. There's a runner on second. The pitcher pitches. The batter bunts. The pitcher fields the bunt and throws to first. Only problem is no one's covering
the Ghost
first.
is covering first base.
No one is covering first
great.
base. So the man on second rounds third and slides into home, and the catcher's reaction for Chinese Taipei is priceless.
It's great.
Congratulations to Florida's
We'll have to
Little
show
League
you that
World
after
Series
the
team.
show.
Oh my gosh, I highly encourage anyone that watches this show to go look at the clip because the reaction from the catcher
I can try
is
and throw it
incredible.
up in post, honestly. We might get copyrighted, but it's worth it. It's such a great clip.
I'm gonna say I am usually really big into like the Little League World Series because it's one of those things where it's baseball at its purity. Like, baseball is a kid's game. That's the reason why nobody liking bat flips and stuff. I could go on a rant for days on that, but baseball's dead to me anyway. Right. So I have to look this up, though, after you explaining that, because that sounds awesome.
Yeah. I just realized we never mentioned we were going to pronounce the Reds dead. So our loser of the week is the Cincinnati Reds.
Loser of the whole season.
We have pronounced them dead.
Reds, we'll see you next year, Reds.
Dead.
Yep.
We'll see you in April. We'll see you in March, whatever. But let's talk about the sport at hand, football. That's the rest of this show is football. So college football, we talked about my winner being Georgia Tech, Florida State. We all saw that game. Great game. How much do you weigh this game? Do you think Georgia Tech is a legitimate threat, or is it they kind of had a weak Florida State team, or is Florida State weak? Do they still have a chance? What do you think about that game?
Personally, for me, I'm not trying to put too much stock into it because I wasn't high.
It's hard not to.
I wasn't high on Florida State, though.
Yeah, me neither.
It was one of those things where it's like DJU couldn't work at Clemson, so he's not going to work at Florida State. I don't know what we're doing
DJ,
there.
you need to get a job. Correct pronunciation.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things. But I will say it's kind of funny because of College Football 25. By the way, this is just proof that the game is glorious and helps you when it comes to these kind of things. That game kind of woke us all up to this Georgia Tech team could be pretty good.
Yeah.
The talent is there. Haynes King is a dog.
Yeah, former 5-star.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things, and man, I love that head coach. Run the freaking ball.
Yeah. The dude has one play, and it's the HB dive.
Yeah, I love it.
I will say I have had the pleasure of running a Georgia Tech dynasty in College Football 25 because I wanted to bring back the triple option to Georgia Tech, and yes, their team is it's highly underrated. I think Georgia Tech could have a really good sleeper season this year between the quarterback play of Haynes King and Jamal Haynes in the backfield. That's a dynamic 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
It's funny because Gary can give a better analysis of it because he's done that dynasty, so he can say like who was
exactly.
good. Yeah.
I know the player names.
Like I can tell you why Purdue's not going to be that good this year because I did a dynasty. Yeah. So it's full circle. But Ben, what did you see from that game?
Yeah, I mean overall great game. What better way to start off the college football season than an upset in Ireland? I mean, I feel like Georgia Tech, in a way, they were a sleeper team this year, and I kind of question Florida State a little bit because they lost so much talent to the NFL.
Absolutely.
So it was going to be interesting to see how they were going to replace those stars from that really impressive 13-0 team that should have made the college football playoff last year.
Yeah.
But overall, though, just what an ending. And I heard that kicker, what was his name?
That I do not know.
Okay.
Was it the kicker or the punter? Or we might have two different. What do you want to say?
The kicker who kicked the game winner. I don't think he's ever attempted a game winner before.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So
what I thought you were going to go with was I saw the punter for Georgia Tech is from Ireland as well. Yeah. So that's where I thought you were going with that. But that was also his first.
Yeah, a bit of a homecoming for the punter.
Yeah. But that was also his first game-winning field goal for sure. Yeah,
but overall though, I'm just excited to see what kind of things Georgia Tech can do this year because, like I said before, they might be a sleeper in the ACC.
They'll be a hard out for any team, I think, week to week. They play a hard-nosed football, but
they're going to upset Georgia.
What?
Okay. I'm kidding.
Okay. You said it.
You said it. But anyway.
All right, real quickly.
Yes.
Name of that kicker, Aiden Burr. Congrats, Aiden Burr.
Congrats. Okay. That should have been our winner.
Kick a game-winning field goal the first game of the college football season.
Welcome
back, college football.
Will never be forgotten.
All right, gentlemen. So it's time to put everybody on the hot seat, though, and make some crazy hot takes.
Okay.
We're going to go ahead and start in the ACC. There's 4 teams currently ranked in the top 25. Florida State probably not there anymore. Clemson, Miami, and
think they're off the top 25?
Yes.
Okay. You think so?
You lose to a team outside of the top 25, you fall out of the top 25. I don't care if you're in the top 10 or not.
I think they'd be ranked in the low 20s.
No, that's where I would put them.
I would put them in the low 20s. Yeah. I don't think they'd fall out because it was a close game.
Goodbye. Go get a job, DJ. All right. Anyway, so we're going to talk the ACC,
name backwards.
And I'm going to go ahead and go. Actually, you know what? I'll say mine because I feel like mine might be a little bit of a hot take.
So you're going. So we're in the ACC
winner. Who's your ACC winner?
I got NC State. Grayson McCall is the answer for this team.
For myself, I'm going Virginia Tech.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen. So it's kind of ironic right now. I've got NC State versus Virginia Tech in the ACC championship.
Oh.
And ironically enough, all offseason I've been Team Virginia Tech.
You have been.
However, I looked into it and I looked really, really deep, and I was looking for any excuse not to pick this team. But Grayson McCall and the NC State Wolfpack are going to win the ACC.
Yeah.
All right.
We talked about it before the show. The ACC's favorable schedule for them
Yes.
is unbelievable. They don't play any of the teams in the top 25.
Yeah. But, I mean, looking back at NC State these past couple years, they've kind of been a quarterback away from taking that next leap. I think that's what Grayson McCall does. He takes his team to that next step to where they might even, if they don't win the championship, they might be that second ACC team to get a bid. But, like you said, they have a weak schedule, so they have to capitalize on it.
Yes, absolutely. Ben, what made you lean Virginia Tech?
Yeah.
So, as I was doing research, though, they had a lot of talent on offense that are coming back, and a lot of talent on defense that's coming back. So I feel like with all that experience, though, that's going to be beneficial for this team.
Yeah.
And also, you can't sleep on quarterback Kyron Drones. He had a great season last year. I mean, the best part about his game that I like is he has the ability to create plays with his legs. I mean, he rushed for over 800 yards last year, so I feel like he's a little bit of a sleeper for this upcoming season. So I'm excited to see what the Hokies got in store down in Blacksburg.
I'm going to say we're going to talk Heisman a little bit later, and he was in my debate for the Heisman. Kyron Drones is very, very, very good, along with Grayson McCall. And I do want to add, I was incorrect. NC State does go to Clemson. That is their one quote-unquote tough game. Anytime you go to Clemson, it is very tough.
I'm not the highest on Clemson this year.
But it's still at Clemson.
I get that's going to be a tough game. Don't get me wrong. But, like, when you look at the ACC, we didn't even mention Clemson as a team to potentially be in the running there. And I think that's just a testament to I don't trust this team. Do you have any particular reason why you don't trust this team?
Well, no, I don't trust him because right now it looks like Dabo was living off Trevor Lawrence and living off Deshaun Watson.
That's the vibe I get.
But he could prove us wrong this year. This is a prove-it year. I mean, the man got passed up on his dream job. He wanted that Alabama job, and the Alabama booster said, no, you're not good enough to be here.
He didn't get a single transfer.
Yeah, he doesn't believe in the portal.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see. Clemson, you can't sleep on Clemson.
No.
And honestly, when Nick Saban says it's Florida State, Miami, or Clemson, you almost got to trust it a little bit because it's coming out of Nick Saban's mouth, right?
Yeah.
But let's talk some Big Ten football.
Yeah, let's move on
some of my favorite football.
Really quickly before we
ahead.
move on, I wanted to get y'all's opinion. And granted, you might not have done research on this. The newcomers to the ACC, how do we think they're going to fare this year?
That's Stanford, SMU, Cal.
Yes, those three: Stanford, SMU, and Cal.
Stanford and Cal are kind of irrelevant. I don't think they're fully there yet, adapting. And plus, I'm very interested in seeing this travel from the West Coast to East Coast.
Yes,
Absolutely.
It could have been one of those memes that is a complete lie, but there's some stat out there that it's Cal football is basically traveling the distance around the world.
It was not a meme. It was true.
This season, that is way too much travel. I don't care who you are.
No.
Going to school and everything else. Yeah, so I'm not buying either one of those two teams. I do like SMU a little bit. They have talent, but I just don't know if it's
that
ACC
game against
talent.
Nevada was a little rough, though.
Yeah.
It was a little rough.
So those would be. I would actually. Stanford's dead.
Stanford, we know, But I would say if there's any team to come out of that the best, it would probably be SMU. They are probably the best equipped. But so the Big Ten you were talking about.
Yes, Big Ten. I'm going to go ahead and start it off. And no, I'm not going to be a homer.
Oh, that's a first.
I'm not picking Michigan. I want to. 9-3. But
just letting you know.
I will take Oregon over Penn State.
Okay.
And they both get to the Big Ten championship by beating Ohio State at home. Yes, that tells me I'm picking Ohio State to lose 2 games, both at Oregon and at Penn State, not getting into the Big Ten championship.
So you like this Penn State team, huh?
I've been on Big Penn State all year.
Who's your quarterback there? Drew Aller.
Drew Aller. And I like Drew Aller a lot. I think he's going to make himself a first-round pick in this season.
Is he a junior this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like you, Josh, I'm going with Oregon to win the Big Ten. Excuse me. I like the addition of Dylan Gabriel. I mean, he was a really good player at Oklahoma. Oregon, they're a team that likes to throw the football. I mean, you've seen flashes of it.
Yeah, they tend
with,
to,
yeah, we've seen flashes of it. Flashes of that from Bo Nix last year. Obviously, one of the best passers last year. And
yeah.
Dylan Gabriel, he's another elite passer that came out of Oklahoma. But I feel like he fits into this offense really well. And also, you can't ignore the Ducks secondary. They got Kobe Savage from Kansas State and cornerback Jabbar Muhammad from Washington, excuse me. So those guys are joining the #1 ranked pass defense from last season. So
Really?
I'll be honest, I did not know they got Muhammad from Washington. Yeah. Okay, I like Oregon even more now.
Yeah, I liked Oregon already. But,
but yeah, overall, though, great offense, great defense. Those two things are going to come together for the Ducks, and I feel like they're going to do a lot of great things this year.
Okay. All right. That's who I got one in the Big Ten as well. So we're just all across the board the same. So where are we moving to next?
We are going to go ahead and talk to Big 12, and I think that's the most wide open, as we mentioned before.
Yes.
That'll be the most fun to watch, I think.
Yeah,
for sure.
Utah, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Arizona, and Kansas are all the top 5 teams, or are the 5 teams ranked in the top 25, and kind of a predictable, or the predicted teams who could go ahead and win it. So, Ben, who do you got winning the Big 12?
I got Utah winning it. The one thing that I'm excited about for Utah, I mentioned this a couple weeks ago when we talked about college football, those 8 starters on defense who are coming back, which allowed only 19.3 points per game. Yeah, one of the best defenses in the country. And the last couple of years, Utah, they've been known for their defense, though. But on the offensive side, though, Cam Rising, I feel like he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks, and I feel like he can potentially be a Heisman candidate. We'll see down the road, but he has a great offense around him with Dorian Singer, a transfer from USC, and Damian Alford from Syracuse. So I feel like if Cam Rising can stay healthy with this offense that's coming in, I feel like they can do a lot of great things this year.
Yeah, I mean, Utah's my pick as well. They're a team I liked last year. I like this year. I trust them throughout. As long as Cam Rising stays healthy, I think he is absolutely a Heisman candidate. If this team wins games, they got a tougher schedule than maybe some of the other Big 12 teams. But I think so long as they bring that defense, they are able to improve on the offense with Cam Rising behind center, I think they will absolutely win this Big 12 and be a threat in the playoffs. You do not want to face this team in the playoffs.
Right.
I don't have Utah winning.
Really?
I've got Oklahoma State over Kansas State. I love Oklahoma State.
Yep.
I didn't.
Run the
That's what
freaking
I was
ball.
going to say.
Ollie Gordon.
Ollie Gordon.
Yeah.
Where did you get that from? Was that from college football too?
No, I knew
He
about
always wins the
Ollie Gordon.
Heisman in mine, so I
Ollie
should have
Gordon.
thought about that.
But no, Oklahoma State getting Utah at Oklahoma State is very big.
Yes.
And I like Kansas State because they get Arizona State, Oklahoma State, and Kansas all at home. Huh. Unfair scheduling yet again.
Yeah.
But gentlemen,
It's crazy. When you stack them all in the same conference, it's like you just can't get an even schedule.
let's go ahead and talk about the best conference in football and the conference that everybody wants to talk about. Oh, wait.
I have a prediction.
Okay.
I have a
Garrett
prediction.
will be coming out of his chamber.
So you know how the Pac-12, the days of yore, the old Pac-12 liked to cannibalize itself.
Yes, I am familiar.
I think that's what's going to happen to the Big 12 this year. I think they added the teams that tend to be on upset watch from the Pac-12, and I'd watch out for Arizona. That guy they got at quarterback, Tafiti. I think he might turn a few heads and pull off a few upsets just by himself alone, just because of how dynamic of a player he is.
That team would have been my pick to win if they would have kept their head coach. But the fact Fish went to Washington, I think it plays a bigger role in their season. But yes, I liked Arizona because of Fafiti, and then their wide receiver, I want to say it's McLaurin, is completely slipping my name, but that team is very good, and they will put up a lot of points.
Yeah, my overall prediction is I don't think anyone comes out of the Big 12 undefeated. That's my overall prediction. I think every team will have a loss.
I think we all agree on that.
Yeah,
for
definitely
sure.
agree on that. That was something I noticed, but I totally was thinking the same thing. It's going to be like the Pac-12 where you just have such deep talent where each week you could have an upset.
Well, let's talk SEC as we tried to do, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it out
I like
there.
the point, Gary. I like the point.
I do like that, Gary. The SEC, I've already made myself known a few weeks ago. I like Ole Miss. I'm sticking with Ole Miss. Give me Ole Miss over Texas. Colton.
Texas over Ole Miss. I like Quinn Ewers. I don't think he's Andy Dalton like you say, and even if he is Andy Dalton, that's a good thing to
he won
have.
a Rose Bowl.
Yeah, he won a Rose Bowl. So give me Texas. I like this team last year. They lost their wide receiver core a little bit, but I think still having that steady arm at QB. They also brought in some good transfers at that position. So I think they should transition pretty well. And it'll be tough. It'll be their first time in the SEC, but they had a tough schedule last year. They got a tough start. You'll be seeing this team.
I will be seeing that team very soon.
So you'll be cheering against that one. But I think it's going to be kind of the year of Texas there in the SEC. But honestly, Ole Miss is who I have also making it. I think Georgia, it's just a little overrated for me. I think they still will be tough, but I like the vibes at Ole Miss, and I like their quarterback as well.
Ole Miss and Texas both get Georgia at home. There's the Georgia Bulldogs 2 losses.
Oh,
sounds a little bit familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, good observation there, but I got Georgia winning the SEC this year.
Okay.
I mean, I like Carson Beck. I feel like he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I mean, he's got a lot of great playmakers around him on offense. He has a good offensive line that's returning this year. Defense, they're stacked at the linebacker position especially, but they obviously got a tough schedule if they're gonna make a run for a national championship. I mean, they got Clemson this upcoming weekend. On the road, they got Kentucky and Lexington, Alabama and Tuscaloosa, Texas and Ole Miss. So I feel like it'll be interesting to see how they're gonna perform with this tough road schedule. But it's Georgia. I think they'll be just fine.
All right. Well, very quickly, we're going to just recap our college football playoff.
Yes.
I will go ahead and start. Obviously, Ole Miss, Oregon, Oklahoma State, NC State get in for winning the conference. Mm-hmm. Then I've got Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, Georgia, Memphis. Yes, I said Memphis. Virginia Tech.
Wait, that didn't register. What the hell?
Virginia Tech, Kansas State, and Ohio State all getting into the playoffs.
All right. For myself, I'm going Boise State, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Penn State, Notre Dame, Texas, Missouri, Oklahoma State.
All right. I got, of course, Texas, Oregon, NC State, Utah all winning their respective conferences. And then I have Georgia there at number 5, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Penn State, Kansas with Jalen Daniels. They also have a fairly easy schedule there. I put down Georgia State. I meant what did I even mean? Because I don't think I guess I meant Georgia Tech. I guess I meant Georgia Tech. Notre Dame, and then Liberty getting that at-large, or not technically at-large, but the group of 5 bid there. So, Georgia Tech. I'll be honest, I wrote this portion of my notes at about 1 a.m. So I guess I was really feeling Georgia Tech at that point. So, that is my playoff predictions. We unfortunately got that part cut off a little bit, but we just love college football.
Yeah, we do. Sure.
It's so easy to just talk and talk and talk. But I think we're going to go ahead and move on to our trivia, and then we'll move to our NFL segment. So, Garrett, what do you got for us? It's got to be football related, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you better believe it's football related, boys. All right. So, you can say I was inspired by Georgia Tech's performance in Dublin on Saturday. So, my question for you guys is, when was the last time a top 10 team lost to an unranked team in week 1 of college football?
Week 1 or week 0?
I think they're talking about week 1 or week 0.
Okay.
Yeah, because week 0 only became a thing like a year or 2 ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember. Week 0 was not a thing for a while.
Okay, just act like week 1.
Okay.
The first game of the season.
Right. So you're asking what was the matchup or what team was it that fell?
If you can name me either the team that fell or the team that beat them, I will give you a point.
Okay.
I just feel like this is a stab at me, so I'm just going to say Michigan.
Yeah, that's who came to mind for me.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember which button is the X. Okay, yeah, that's the X button.
I just wanted to make sure this wasn't a stab at me.
No,
be honest,
that
was the first thing that came to mind.
I'm going to go with Penn State.
Not Penn State.
It's funny, we all just think the Big Ten.
Texas A&M?
Not A&M. I will give you a hint now that you all have guessed. I'll give you a hint now that you all have guessed at least once.
Yeah.
Both teams were from the ACC.
Oh.
Ooh, all right.
At the time?
No, they're still in the ACC right now.
Did Georgia Tech beat Miami?
No.
Then I'm out.
Did Georgia Tech, prior to this upset over the weekend, didn't they beat Florida State again?
Clemson lost in week 1, didn't they?
Let's go.
For an extra point, can you tell me who they lost to?
I have the image in my head. I remember because it was with you need to get a job, right?
I think so. Yeah, no, it
Was
definitely
it against Boston College?
No, it was against the Duke Blue Devils.
Oh,
The Duke
Okay.
Blue Devils upset number 9 Clemson in Durham, week 1 last season.
I actually
I do
remember
remember
that.
that.
was
I do-
last
I
season. So
remember
it
that
wasn't
now.
with you need to
I
get a
do
job.
remember that, yeah.
That was last season.
Okay, so it wasn't with you need to get a job
So it
then
would
because
have
he
been,
was at
would
Oregon
have been
State.
a Club Nick, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually remember that all very vividly now.
Now I want to make sure I'm not just. Was there a Boston College upset of Clemson like recently?
I don't think so.
Well,
Yeah, I
I
don't-
swear.
I
man.
will
I think
double
they
check.
came- I think
Yeah,
they
double
came very
check that because
close.
that's going to eat at me. But another point on the board for me. You know, had to narrow
Can
it
we just
down to
talk
the
NFL?
ACC, but let's talk about the NFL. Where Josh,
All right.
well, Josh, you reign supreme in everything because you everything. But yeah, NFL. We're going to talk about our award picks. We didn't kind of mention that throughout the previews and whatnot, but we wanted to go ahead and start off with that MVP. Who you guys got?
For me, I'm gonna go with Jordan Love.
Do you have a? Also, I was want to ask. Do you guys have like a dark horse off the top of your head?
If you want to go dark horse, I'm gonna go with the team that I have as the spoiler alert. I have as the 1 seed in the NFC actually, and I'm gonna say Matt Stafford turns back time. and
Okay.
Matt
Ooh.
Stafford
I
wins the
love
MVP.
it. I love it.
Wow. For myself, I'm going with CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud is your MVP. Do you have a dark horse?
Dark horse.
That would be my dark horse. Would be a CJ Stroud, but
I mean, he's like top 5 in Vegas, so I wouldn't say he's
Yeah.
really that much of a dark horse.
Yeah. Dark horse, I would probably agree with you, Matthew Stafford.
okay.
Yeah.
I have Patrick Mahomes winning, and I know it's a very basic, but this feels like the and I'll talk about it a little bit later. This kind of feels like the Golden State after their 73-9 season for them. I feel like they only got better this offseason, the Chiefs, unfortunately. Being a realist, my dark horse, and I know he's high on the odds, but I don't think a lot of people respect him necessarily as the MVP candidate, is Josh Allen. I've said it before. I feel like
Should have won it last year, to be honest with you.
right.
Yeah.
But I feel like with this wide receiver core, a lot of people doubt him. If he's able to put up anything that looks MVP worthy, I think he should probably get it. But moving down to the offensive player of the year, Josh, I'll still let you start it.
I'm gonna go with the guy who I would take number 1 overall in fantasy football drafts. Nope, just kidding. Brees Hall,
Brees Hall.
Who were you trying to say?
Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, I heard the
I like
like Kirk Cousins.
No. Brees Hall. I think Brees Hall is going to have an absolute amazing year with the
Okay,
Jets.
so that would be a dark horse for me. I would.
Yeah, I
is he
love-
on the favorites?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
very, very good. If
Yeah.
you want a dark horse, it's Bijan Robinson.
Okay.
Yeah. For myself, I'm going with Tyreek Hill for my offensive player of the year.
Okay.
Yep.
I have Saquon. I think he's going to be healthy. He's going to have his Christian McCaffrey type year like last year on it. I know. I'm just manifesting it. I want to see it happen.
I could see that, and I have no problem with that. I do want to throw it to you first. Does Tyreek Hill go over 2,000 yards receiving then?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. That's very impressive. And then,
Sure
I
is.
mean, if he goes 2,000 in that offense, I want to go back and pick my Tua pick as MVP. But
No kidding.
Yeah, but no. Saquon, are you a little bit worried because offensive player of the year you need to usually be well-rounded stats?
Yeah.
If the ball's on the 1 yard line, we all know what's still going to happen.
Right.
If the ball's on the 2 yard line, we know what's going to happen.
Right.
It's not going to Saquon; it's going to Jalen Hurts. So what if he steals the
That's a
touchdowns?
good point. That's a good point. I guess I didn't really think about that.
Because I
But
like Saquon. Don't get me wrong.
is
That
there a
offense
world
is-
where maybe the tush push isn't as effective without Jason Kelsey?
I think that's a very, very realistic world. Jason Kelsey was
Tush push
legendary.
maybe becomes the Saquon just normal. You know
halfback dive.
what Pete Carroll should have done in the Super Bowl.
Why do you have to do that to me, man? Why do you do that to me? I was about to come on here and say something, and now I don't want to.
No, please, Gary, come on and say something.
I forgot. I was too enraged.
He's so hurt.
But my dark horse is actually Dalton Kincaid on the Bills. That is a very dark horse.
That's an understatement. Dark horse.
But if I'm going with the Josh Allen dark horse, I'm going with the Kincaid for like endless amount of yards. That's the only receiver I actually trust.
Yeah, I'm gonna say so with Dalton Kincaid's situation, which I mean, I could see that. So he's wide receiver 1 then in Buffalo, yes?
You know, he'd be a tight end, but yes.
Yeah, but
he would be the
number
1 option is what I'm banking on. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
But moving down to the defensive line or defensive side, I just kind of gave away who I'm picking. But the defensive player of the year, who do you got?
I don't want to say mine.
Ben, who you got?
For myself, I'm going with Max Crosby. I have a lot of faith that this Raiders defensive front is going to be really good, especially adding Christian Wilkins. So I feel like those guys are going to be a really good duo, and I feel like this is the year that Max Crosby is going to win NFL Defensive Player of the Year.
I have Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett, 2 years in a row.
I think if his offense kind of helps him a little bit, he can be even better there on the defensive end and not be as tired and whatnot. But then I also have, I don't know if it's really a dark horse, but as another one, like just insert any Eagles lineman there. and they could honestly just have a year and do that. Just that is such a talented line. But you got it.
You're going to make me say it. I was really hoping we could just skip over this one.
What do you want to say?
I don't want to say TJ Watt, but I'm going to say TJ Watt.
There it is.
The hate that has been coming from towards TJ Watt, saying, "Oh, he's just JJ's little brother," and all.
Absolutely not.
You know, dude, Bengals fans have been absurd with some of their takes about TJ Watt
in general,
this offseason. So I think TJ Watt goes out there, and I think TJ Watt has a legendary season. Like I think he's just going to go full force, and he's going to be an absolute nightmare. Which is going to get me into a conversation.
If he gets help with Russell Wilson a little bit on the offensive end,
yeah, for sure,
for wins.
You think he breaks a sack record?
Yes.
Ooh, interesting.
Book it.
Are you putting money on that, Mr. Bookie?
No. Josh never puts money on anything. What? Are you kidding me?
I don't bet.
We don't even insinuate such a thing.
We don't gamble on this.
Well, Garrett, since do you got any picks over there on MVP or anything you'd like to spit out?
DK. No, that's just a rage bait. No, not really. I'm just looking forward to a good season, kicking back on the couch and watching some football.
Can we not talk about my favorite award this year and the Coach of the Year award? Can we get to that now?
Yeah, 1 second. Garrett, you're done talking after that. I don't rage bait or not. You have lost talking privilege.
Well, it's okay. We can skip over Josh because we know who's going to pick for Coach of the Year.
Yeah,
Ben, who's your Coach of the Year?
You have talking privileges again. Who do you got Coach of the Year, Ben?
All right, Coach of the Year. I'm going with Matt Eberflus. I feel like the Bears coming in, obviously, with Caleb Williams and a lot.
Sorry. Eberflus.
Oh, Eberflus.
I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you.
That's all good.
But yeah, overall though, I'm excited to see what the Bears have in store this year. Like I mentioned before, Caleb Williams. They got a lot of great weapons around him on offense. The best situation for a rookie quarterback. So I feel like this guy, he's going to be a great leader this year, and looking forward to it.
I got Nick Sirianni on the Eagles.
Wow.
And I just have my 2 1 seeds. Well, spoiler alert. And Andy Reid as my favorites. And then I have Matt LaFleur as a dark horse.
Okay.
And then Josh has...
No, go ahead. Who do I have?
Oh, you go ahead.
I've got Jim Harbaugh.
Oh, really?
Oh,
wow. What? What?
I mean, come on, guys. I mean, they're going to be... Actually, no, I will say I'm a little bit scared now about this plantar fasciitis. Thank you. I'm a little bit worried about that because that's something that I know from every other sport that doesn't heal very quickly.
No, it does not.
So if that is causing Herbert problems all year long, the Chargers are not going to be good.
No.
Yeah.
So in that event that happens, who's your Coach of the Year? Let's get the non-homer pick.
Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin. Okay. Right. You're in on the Steelers this year.
Just wait.
Oh no. I'm scared now. So moving down this list, though, we got the comeback player of the year. You might as well just host this part. I'm losing my spot.
keep hyping up Steelers, gentlemen. Who do you think I'm picking? I'm picking Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, all right.
But I will say the other obvious choices will be either Kirk Cousins or Aaron Rodgers, depending on the whole situation. It'll probably be one of those three, maybe Joe Burrow. But I'm going to go Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'm going with Joe Burrow. I mean, we've seen it in the last couple of years, though, after he went down with his ACL, came back next year, won Comeback Player of the Year. I feel like this year he's going to come back after that wrist injury, and the Bengals are going to have a great season with him at quarterback. So give me Joe Burrow.
Did he win Comeback Player of the Year that year?
Yeah, after when they led them to the.
I doubt they would give it twice, right?
No, they potentially could. I mean,
I wouldn't. He already came back once. Come back again.
I mean, he. He could win it every other year with it.
Yeah. I didn't even look into that. They only give out the award once.
It's not confirmed, but it's just like it just seemed like it would be a weird move for the NFL from me. I would have Kirk Cousins. I would say he probably had a more scarier injury and but then I also have Sam Darnold as a dark horse. I mean, he's throwing the Justin Jefferson. Jefferson goes for 2,000 yards. You never know. It won't happen, but
that won't happen.
This is the season.
No, it won't.
That Sam Darnold will prove himself.
If he's going to win it, it'll be this year. That's for sure.
The dude sees ghosts, dude.
He does.
He is so traumatized. He's like a lot of other quarterbacks in the past. You get hit that many times and you play with that many bad teams.
Yeah.
You just don't rebound really well from it. And I wouldn't mind being wrong. I mean, I kind of like Sam Darnold coming out of USC. I thought he had a lot of talent, but man, I ain't buying that one.
No, all right, that's fair.
Guys, this is probably going to be Aaron Rodgers. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the award is literally set up for Rodgers or Cousins.
Unless Burrow makes it to the Super Bowl and wins the Super Bowl, it'll probably be Aaron Rodgers.
Are they picked after the Super Bowl?
No, it's before. It's the night before they do the player awards or whatever.
Yeah.
Did I say win or make it?
You said win.
Okay,
and technically, the playoffs aren't supposed to count.
Yeah, because it's a regular season award.
Okay. So that's why
the NBA does theirs before the playoffs, because it's a regular season award. Yeah. But anywho, rookie of the years.
Okay, so you did get that on your paper, even though you didn't put it on our notes originally.
I'll be honest, I don't have one, so you guys can just take it.
I got it covered. Well, I can stall a little bit while you think about it. So I wanted to throw out a little facts here real quickly, though. Edge rusher has won 4 of the last 5, with Sauce being the last DB, Leonard being the last inside linebacker, and Donald being the last interior defensive lineman. 2 winners outside the first round in the last 20 years. So basically what I'm saying is you need to take a D-end / pass rusher, and you need to take somebody who was drafted in the first round. That leaves Latu from the Colts, Turner from the Vikings, Verse from the Rams, Chop Robinson from the Dolphins, Darius Robinson from Arizona, or Byron Murphy from Seattle, because he's kind of like the Aaron Donald situation, the position he's going to play. For me, I'm going to go with Chop Robinson. I think the guy's an absolute freak of nature, and I love what he's about to bring to Miami.
From that list of players, that's who I would go with.
Yeah. For myself, I'm going with Caleb Williams for Rookie of the Year.
Just defense.
I was saying Caleb Williams is my favorite defensive player.
Just defense. I thought we were just doing offensive.
No, it's both awards. So it's offense or defense.
So you're saying for offensive player, you got Caleb Williams?
Yeah. Okay. Defensive player of the year, I didn't really look too much into it, to be honest with you.
You're good.
Yeah.
I got Verse.
Go ahead.
I got Jared Verse. I just think the trajectory
that's a good pick.
Going from a D2 school to being like the #1 option at Florida State to being a high draft pick in the NFL, just like the momentum that I think he's going to take the NFL by storm.
The two I wanted to mention as sleepers, just DB-wise, is Terrion Arnold and Quinion Mitchell.
That was somebody I was thinking about.
Both guys are going to get a lot of playing time in their field, so they're interesting too to keep an eye on.
Yeah, with Mitchell, he's also going to be sharing time with Cooper as well, Cooper DeJean. So. Offensive player of the year, though, or rookie of the year?
Yeah, so 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs, 4 quarterbacks have won the rookie of the year. 2023 was the last one at C.J. Stroud. 2022, Garrett Wilson, and haven't had a running back since 2018. Gentlemen, hate to break it to you, but the running back's not winning it this year either.
No.
So, last time a first-round pick didn't win the rookie of the year was in 16 and 17 back-to-back years, Alvin Kamara and Dak Prescott. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Bo Nix are probably the 4 leading candidates because how heavy this quarterback class has been thrown at us. I have to decide between basically Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels, and I'm just going to go because I despise Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels.
All right.
I'm going with Xavier Worthy. Over
He
there.
was on my list.
I think he's got a pretty good quarterback throwing to him. I think
Yeah.
I think these QBs, if I had to pick out of them, I'm gonna go unbiased and say probably Caleb Williams just because of the situation around him. I like Jaden Daniels. Obviously, I've said it time and time again. I like him better. But seeing how there's an interesting, weird situation going around the Commanders, as there always is, I would trust Caleb Williams there. But if I had to pick somebody, I think he's going to fit in right to what the Chiefs need on offense there. He's got Travis Kelce and Hollywood Brown to kind of take the defense off of him. So he's going to be probably as wide open. Like I said, he's got the best passer in the league throwing it to him. So
I mean, that's fair. He was on my list, and I also considered Marvin Harrison Jr. just because
Yeah.
who he is, but he also has a toddler throwing
Oh,
himself
there
a
it is.
football.
Oh,
So,
boy.
there
we go.
One
There's
episode
the
without
Kyler
this guy
Murray
just
hates.
hating Kyler Murray.
There's
Never
the
gonna
Kyler
happen.
Murray hate.
Biggest Murray hater.
But anyway, so let's talk about something that the Cardinals are going to get nowhere near, and that's the playoffs.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, we didn't get that in
gentlemen, I don't know who wants to start first, but we'll go AFC first to your 7 playoff teams.
I had a question real
Okay.
quick.
Yes.
All right.
So, offensive player of the year, or
Yes.
offensive rookie of the year, I should
Yes.
say.
Yeah,
What
we
would
kept on saying that.
Yeah. What would it take for a guy? I know, granted, this never happens, but what would it take for a guy like Joe Alt to even have a shot at winning that?
I'm going to tell you right now,
Nothing.
Never,
No, it's never gonna be a
And
lineman?
which is a shame because honestly, O-line is the most important position on the
Absolutely.
field.
Yeah.
And he's also, I believe, going to be starting at left tackle, which is the second
highest paid position?
Yeah, and the second most important position on the field behind your quarterback. But no, I mean, it would if Quentin Nelson couldn't win the Rookie of the Year award, and I don't know if anybody remembers how big his stock was.
Yeah.
The video of him screaming as he's pushing that dude to the ground.
Yeah.
If he couldn't win Rookie of the Year, or a lineman would never ever win it.
All right, that's fair. I just wanted to ask.
I mean, I would love it as a former O lineman myself. So,
Yeah.
any other questions, Mr. Garrett, sir?
No, I have questions now.
All right. I'll go ahead and start with the AFC. I have Kansas City. I picked them to have the best record. I just think this is kind of their Golden State year. I think they've gotten better, and I think they will just get better throughout the season. Cincinnati, I got in number 2. Houston at number 3, and then Miami, all division winners there. And then the wild card, I have Buffalo having a wild season, and then Jacksonville and Cleveland rounding that out. Yes, I have Baltimore missing. I do not believe in this team.
For myself, I'm going with Texans at number 1, Bengals, Chiefs, Dolphins, Colts, and Ravens.
I've got Texans at 1, Chiefs at 2, Steelers at 3, Jets at 4.
Wait. Steelers at 3?
Yeah.
Why do we love this? Because you like Russell Wilson.
First off, I think Russell Wilson bounces back. I believe in the Steelers defense a lot more than most people.
Oh, I fully believe in their defense. They've always had
just-
good defense.
First off, they're not going to lose. They're already guaranteed 500. So then they just got to win 2 or 3 games more.
Okay.
So it's just the way it is. The Steelers aren't going to be under 500 because the Steelers don't finish under 500. But anyway, before I was rudely interrupted and had to talk properly.
You need to explain the Steelers' love. That's all I'm saying.
I think they're going to be very, very good, like AFC Championship.
Okay. Well, I got them finishing 4th, where they will finish. So.
Chargers were 5th. Browns were 6th. Dolphins were 7th. Yes, gentlemen, I left the Bengals out of the playoffs. I'm sorry for that. NFC, I've got Rams as 1, Eagles as 2, Falcons as 3, Packers as 4, Cowboys as 5, Lions as 6, and Niners as 7.
All right. For myself, I got Lions at 1, 49ers at 2, Eagles 3rd, Falcons 4th, Packers 5th, Cowboys 6th, and Bears 7th.
Bears. You are buying it on Caleb Williams and the Bears, sir.
Yeah, for sure.
I have the Bears far away from the playoffs. I have Philadelphia at number 1. I have San Francisco at 2, Detroit at 3, Atlanta at 4. And then in the wild card, I have the Packers, the Rams, and the Cowboys. However, I did like that Rams at 1 pick. I just think the Niners will keep that one spot
For sure.
I think when I was going through it, I started realizing the Rams' schedule is easier than what the Niners are because of where they finished last year.
Yeah.
So I think that's how. Because I was surprised when I had the Rams at 1. I was like, not only are they winning the division, but I got them literally as the best team in the entire NFC on paper.
And you talked about it earlier, Matthew Stafford as being a dark horse too.
Yeah, I mean, if he's my 1 seed, I've got to put him up there, right? So that's it. But not sure how close we are on time. But gentlemen, this is usually where we go with bold prediction for Phil. But as a classic Phil didn't share his.
He did have one. He said, let me look at that text. It was about his wide receiver. Nick Harbor is going to be his breakout player.
Okay.
For college.
For college,
Gotcha.
I think.
But
no, here it is. Nick Harbor will win the Heisman. Is his bold prediction.
Okay, so we're not gonna take that one.
So he just randomly typed something down. Is what
so
happened.
this is our crazy bold prediction time usually. So if I know we had a few planned, but go ahead and throw out your number 1 bold prediction.
Caleb Williams will break the rookie passing record.
The buy-in on Caleb Williams. Wow.
I'm really interested to see it.
Honestly,
I
can see it happening for sure.
I mean, he's got the most talent around him that any rookie quarterback has ever had.
Yeah.
Those painted nails give him +5 throw power.
Oh boy.
All right. So I changed my bold prediction since apparently this is a bold prediction now. Justin Fields will replace Russell Wilson halfway through the season.
Would not surprise me one bit.
Well, considering I didn't have the Steelers losing till halfway through the season, that's very wrong on my end. Yeah, I literally got the Steelers going on a very. Steelers will have the longest win streak of the season to start the year. They will be the last team to lose a game. That's what I had. But that's not my bold take, even though that is very bold. My bold is that the Green Bay Packers will not have only 1, not 2, but 3 wide receivers go over 1,000 yards receiving. And that's what will lead to Love winning the Rookie of the Year, MVP.
I'll go ahead and give you what my bold take was going to be since you said that. The Packers are my bold take, dark horse champions.
Interesting.
Super Bowl champions.
I have a bold take.
Yeah, let's hear it, Garrett.
Spencer Rattler will become a starting quarterback at some point in this season for the New Orleans Saints.
I don't think that's that bold. I've been seeing a lot of people think that because Carr looks washed.
Yeah, the stuff that I'm seeing out of the Saints summer camps and stuff like that, Spencer Rattler looks like he's hit another level, and Derek Carr looks like he's taken a step back in his career.
Oh, blackness.
Yeah, it's been doing that off and on. So.
That was just a monitor. Okay, all right. I was like straight darkness.
Gentlemen, I'm going to go to it a little bit early, before the siren. So we're going to go to the classic 2-minute warning. So, gentlemen, college football breakout player.
For myself, I'm going to Tennessee, Nico Lamaliva. Okay. Okay, we'll just leave it at Nico. He's my breakout player.
I like that, by the way. He's a good quarterback.
I got an interesting name, one that I found in college football over at Stanford, Elik Ayomor. I'll put the name how you spell it on the screen, but
fair enough.
just a guy I found on college football.
I'm kind of cheating in the mindset. If you will follow college football, you know him, but if you don't, you may not. Grayson McCall. I think Grayson McCall will be literally the headliner in the final in the Heisman. College football champion, Ben.
The Oregon Ducks.
Oregon Ducks.
Georgia Bulldogs. Favorite week 1? Yeah, no. They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose the SEC championship. And I said that, but however, they're gonna get into the playoffs and beat Ohio State, Ole Miss, and Oregon to win it.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, we get Ohio State, Georgia round 1. They're gonna send the message that college football playoffs matter. Gentlemen, week 1 matchup you're most looking forward to, Colton.
I didn't have one. I thought you said something different for that question.
Oh, what was the question?
I thought you said Heisman.
Oh, you can do that one too.
My Heisman pick, Jackson Dart.
Are we flipping the time?
No. Do whatever you prepared for.
I'm sorry. Georgia and Clemson. I think it's going to be a showdown in Atlanta.
Thursday night, Colorado making a statement and losing to North Dakota State, and also Jackson Dart. And Jackson Dart will win the Heisman as well.
All right.
Gentlemen, Darlington winner. It's that time. Last game. Does somebody sneak in the playoffs?
Busher gets the walk-off win.
I'm going with Kyle Busch. We've been seeing flashes of him the last couple of weeks, so give me Kyle Busch.
We agree on way too much. Chris Buescher sneaks into the part.
We need more arguments on this podcast.
But no, I mean, I love Chris Buescher this weekend. So.
Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. He had a good run there. But that is all for today's episode. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and thank you all for listening. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at NorseBWPod or X, whatever you want to call it. And be sure to stick around Tuesday. Live show, we'll do a little intro, and then we'll get into our fantasy football draft. Very excited for that. We got a lot of big things planned. And thank you, Bill. Thank you, Garrett. Thank you all for coming on the show. And we'll see you all in the next one. Peace.